Welcome to New Life Live with host and founder of New Life Ministries, Stephen Arterburn. New Life Live is dedicated to transforming lives one at a time, thanks to the giving hearts of you, our listeners. Our goal is to provide you with wisdom from God's Word to give you hope and help in life's hardest places. If you have a question you'd like to ask today, our phone lines are open. Call 1-800-229-3000. That number again is 1-800-229-3000. Now here's Steve.
Hi everybody, I am back, and I haven't been on radio in a while, and neither have us three together. And when I'm talking about us three, Dr. John Townsend, Dr. Jill Hubbard are here with me. Hi guys.
Hello.
Hey everybody.
So happy to be with you guys.
Yeah, me too. We were just talking about our probably first programs together, year 2000. So we've been doing this a little while.
Since we were, I think, 11 years old.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
So true. And we're here in Southern California with a live audience and happy to be that. And we're going to take a bunch of calls. Anyway, so I haven't been on the program in a while because I went on sabbatical after I had these mini strokes in April of 23. And then rather than come back, I thought, it's probably time. Because there's nothing worse than dying while you're doing a live radio program. It's just embarrassing. So I didn't want to be embarrassed. Okay, drag him off. Got the whole gurney thing. So I just decided it was time to not do radio. And Becky is so great at that. But then also I retired a couple of weeks ago. Don't remember exactly what date. Because our team is so strong and their plans are so great, I could retire. So I have retired, and they say that within the first 6 months of retirement, you get to do everything that you ever wanted to do your whole rest of your life. So I'm trying to get that out of the way. And then I've got a few other things I want to do. But it's great to be here. And if you want to talk with us, it's 1-800-229-3000. And John, you just did a presentation for these wonderful people on attunement. And that has nothing to do with guitar, although you are a great keyboardist and guitarist. But when you talked about attunement, you said this is the thing. I mean, this is the...
Well, yeah, what I said was in a relationship, if you've got 20 tools you can have, but you can only do one of those, default to this one every time.
Do that one, yeah. Well, and it's so easy to understand and so difficult to do. And, if you have ADHD like me, like my whole life, I have made very simple things look more complicated. So people thought I was working really hard. And it's never easy. But I think the thing that I felt in the room here when you were talking is people really want to do better. And, we love it doing a radio program where we give some ideas on better. But then we do these workshops, these intensives, and we hope that it's the most amount of help in the least amount of time for the least amount of money. Although it's not inexpensive all the time, but it's a lot of help in a very small length of time. And so if any of you want help, you can always call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE, and we would absolutely be glad, and it would be wonderful to help you. Now, I'm thinking that we might be able to go to a phone call here pretty soon. But if that's not the case, I heard about these two cows that were out in the field. And one cow said out loud, just out of clear blue, moo. And the other cow said, oh my goodness, I was just about to say that. Anyway, services for that
I'm
joke.
so glad you're back.
Services for that joke will be held tomorrow in the chapel here at the hotel. But we will take a break. The music is playing. We're always grateful for anybody that joins us. Of course, me at my age, I'm just grateful to be alive. But we want to talk with you, and when we come back, we're going to go to Donnie, or Danny, one or the other, from Lynchburg. And what a name for a city, isn't it? Lynchburg. They lynched so many people. They named the town Lynchburg. That's pretty amazing, I think.
Is that true?
Well, where else? I mean, why would you?
I'm hearing different opinions from the live audience here. I don't know.
We'll take a break. We'll come back
guess it's
for
an AI
more
question.
of New Life Live.
My husband was involved with a pornography addiction. He was unfaithful I called the wedding off. He stepped out on the marriage and ended up having a child.
The Restore Workshop is designed for a woman dealing with a man's sexual addiction issues.
My husband is a recovering sex addict. There were strip clubs, other ladies.
If you've been affected by betrayal, an emotional or physical affair, or pornography, the Restore Workshop will equip you with support and tools to help you through.
Restore has empowered me and has given me the tools to work through my anger, work through my pain, work through my confusion, and help me realize that I am worthy.
Being here and being surrounded by people who get it has given me my power back.
The Restore Workshop is being held online Saturday, June 10th. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE to find out more. That's 1-800-639-5433 or online at newlife.com.
Thank you, Restore. You have changed my life forever.
To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
We are back. Steve Arterburn here with Dr. Jill Hubbard, Dr. John Townsend, and our wonderful friends here live in this hotel here in South Orange County, California. And having an audience, I was able for someone to come up and tell me that actually Lynchburg is named after John Lynch. They lynched so many people, they changed their last name to Lynch, I think. But anyway, it's really good to have the facts there.
From the frying pan to the fire.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go to, I believe it's Donnie, I think that's it, from Lynchburg, listens on WAVA. Do I need to punch the button, or do you do that? I need to punch the button. Okay, let's see if I can pull that off. Button. Punch. Hi there. How you doing? How do you pronounce your first name there?
Hey, it's Danny Young. How are you?
Danny, good. Good to talk with you. How you doing today?
I'm okay. I have a little bit of a headache, but I'm okay. I have a couple of questions for you, Steve. I know that's you because I recognize your voice for 20-some years. So, I have a question or two. I've been having a hard time with setting boundaries with my husband. I've wanted to be protected under a submissive wife, underneath, the God's word and everything, but financially, he is just absolutely not taking care of any of it, not any that I can tell, any of his responsibilities other than maybe like trash or one or two things. I'm doing all the rest of the finances. And so my question would be, how do I still be a submissive wife, but yet get him motivated to pay some of his debts? Because he's been to court and they've judged against him. He didn't listen to me, so I couldn't help him. So, what do I do? How do I get him motivated? What do I do to be a submissive wife in that? So I'm an excellent wife.
Okay,
so Martha Peace, but I want to be that. How do I do that?
Okay, so the Bible is really pretty clear that this issue of submission isn't one person is the dictator and the other person is the doormat. It says that we need to submit ourselves to one another out of reverence for Christ. So if you have a person dying to himself, if you're married to a man who's willing to die to himself, well, that would be a really great person to submit to. And if you were a man and your wife was in this partnership submitting, you would want to die to yourself to preserve that relationship. It's a partnership, not a dictatorship. And so many times the teaching is very, very unbalanced, but that's a perspective. And John and Jill will give you the real answer. Let's start with you, John. What do you think? I mean, it sounds like to me he is not in the relationship.
Yeah, Danny, I'm sorry to hear you're going through this, especially since you're trying to do marriage the right way.
Yeah.
You had two questions that I'm hearing. One was, does submission mean I can't tell the truth or set boundaries? Absolutely not. We're all supposed to be submitted to God, which means do the right thing. So the second question was, what boundaries do I set? And I want to address that. What's keeping you from having him in a room with somebody else, like a counselor or someone, to say, this is not okay? I think I think you've been sort of DQ'd. You're kind of disqualified. What's keeping you from a strong person that he will respect to tell the same thing to? Because apparently he doesn't care enough with the messing up with his money. Where can we get that person, and can that happen?
Well, the question that I would have is, we've done counseling with people at our churches, different churches, like 3 different churches. We've been there for over 8 years that we've been married, and it's actually worse now than it has ever been before. And so it's going backwards instead of forwards, and I don't know how to stop or put a boundary or limit him on what he's spending or how to get involved with that, because it's like in separate accounts. Do you see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Danny, I'm wondering if this is diagnostic of maybe a deeper problem. Finances are one of the number one problems that marriages have, but it's often where other issues are played out in the financial arena. So what are other areas of his life, or are there other areas of his life that he tends to procrastinate on or not follow through on? And so is this someone that is kind of keeps trying to maybe get ahead but just keeps floundering?
No. Actually, it's kind of the opposite, which doesn't make any sense to me, because he'll be 65 in May of this next year, and he isn't taking responsibility in typically any area of his life. And I hate to say any area because that's black and white, it's concrete. But like everything that he's touched, he's had his vehicle repossessed. He's let the laundry go so that they're breaking down. And I mean, just everything that he's touched has come backwards. You know what I'm saying?
That's exactly what I was wondering.
Could he be depressed? Mm-hmm.
Could he be?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't know.
A lot of these things at 65 are the sign of somebody, that's not like, you don't do that kind of stuff at 65 because you want to be mean. Sometimes it's because they've lost hope or something. And have you had a conversation with him about if he's struggling inside at all?
Yeah, I definitely do. And I have. And we've talked about this before. I'm like, I literally I'm getting ready to get credentialed as a coach. And I thought maybe he's depressed, maybe he's,
right. What does he say? Danny, what does he say about this?
He's fine. He says he's fine. That's all he says. He's fine. He's good. He's whatever. And I'm like, It's almost like he's too compliant. Or
right. But his behavior says he's not fine, because everything's breaking down.
Yeah. No.
And churches have great ministries with lay counseling, and they do a great job for most people. But this is a situation where you really have to find a professional and say to him, I've made an appointment for us and we need to go see this person. That's your greatest hope for him to get to another level.
What about a New Life Intensive?
Okay.
Well, it would be great if they'd go to the marriage intensive, but if he's unwilling to even get out of the house to see somebody, it might be too much.
I get that.
Or the emotional freedom workshop.
Here's our thinking, Danny. The way that God constructed our brains is that we change with information, how to be a good spouse, but we also have to change with what's called experience. Otherwise, we'd have a list of sanctification. It won't work. You got experience. And an intensive, like the ones that come on at New Life, you hear the skills and all this and the truth, but you have experiences of vulnerability where you're in the microwave and he's around people that care. I think your husband needs a breakthrough. That something's really gone wrong with him, as to Jill's point. Yep. And intensive it's there and it heats up in a very grace-filled way until the person finally goes, everybody else is like me. It's safe to say this. I'm not doing so good. I think that's the very first thing you guys need.
Well, and for you too.
How do you get him to do the breakthrough, though, Jill?
Well, for you.
Dr. Jill, how you did that?
I think instead of focusing on all of the behaviors and the money, even though that's quite distressing for you, I think you have to say, sweetheart, I'm hearing you say you're fine. You feel great. Yet I'm noticing all these things that are uncharacteristic for you or have been happening and getting worse. And that doesn't really go together. Help me understand that you're fine, yet the world around you. And I think we need to go and see someone.
Yeah. What we can do is put you in touch with one of our folks that can hopefully find for you a counselor or help you. They're really good at directing people on how to approach the spouse that's resistant to get into some kind of intensive, our marriage intensive or one of the other things.
And Danny, I think because, in a marriage, there's you, there's him, and then there's the relationship. If you have a problem, that means he also has a problem. So you can say, I'm confused. I'm having a hard time understanding.
That's more vulnerable.
I want to be a good wife to you. Please come with me so I can understand my part in this.
Yeah.
That can make him open up too.
Okay.
So, do you have Boundaries in Marriage? Do you have that book? John wrote that?
No, I don't.
Okay, I'll send that to you. And I'm really glad you called, and it's a very tough situation, and I just hope and pray that when I put you on hold, the person that does this for a living, connects people with resources, can connect you. And so hold on, and we'll get you to that person. When people wait a very, very long time, folks get trained. You're really, when you're allowing stuff, you're training the other person to be this way. And it's really hard to reverse that. My point is, the sooner we intervene, the better.
Yeah, I think that comes from a thing called defensive hope, Steve.
Yeah.
Where you hope it'll get better, like, I'll just let time pass.
Right.
And time never fixed anything without grace and truth. But the defensive hope person says, I'll give him a 13,000 chance. And sometimes we got to go, that's not real hope.
That's wishing.
Yeah, the hope is for me to take initiative.
Right. Okay, let's take another call here before we go to the break. And let's go to Marie, Newport Beach, listens on KKLA. Hi, Marie. How are you today?
I'm doing good. Thank you for taking my call.
Sure. How can we help?
Well, my issue is similar to the last woman who spoke. I was in a 23-year relationship, actually marriage. My husband traveled a lot. I tried to submit the best I could. I homeschooled the boys. He used parental alienation through the divorce to separate me from my boys. He has since committed suicide recently, my ex-husband.
Oh, gosh.
And my boys are still not speaking to me. So I'm just in a real difficult place. I want to comfort them. They wouldn't allow me to attend the memorial.
Oh, gosh.
They don't want anything to do with me. They say that the reason why they're angry at me is because I homeschooled them. And one of my boys had learning disabilities, and my ex-husband would not allow me to have him tested because he didn't want him to be labeled, because he himself was dyslexic. So my question for you is, what do I do with these two boys that are not forgiving me? They know the Lord, but yet they're holding me at bay, not wanting to forgive or have a relationship with me because of things that happened.
How old are they, Marie?
20 and 23.
By the way, Marie, this doesn't help you, but this is one of the more common trends that we've dealt with over the past few years. And it's almost like generation blame. When I'm miserable, rather than figure out, hey, what do I need to do to not be miserable, I'm just going to blame somebody and let that be it. And I'm sorry that you're the target of that. So what do you guys think might be the best thing? I mean, couldn't even go to the memorial service.
That's horrible. And how long ago did this happen, Marie? Did you say?
My ex-husband committed suicide 2 months ago.
Oh, wow. Okay, Marie, they can't be angry with their dad. And so you are the safest person. And the things that they're saying, here their dad just committed suicide and they're mad at you for homeschooling them. That doesn't really quite fit with what they're going through. I know it's difficult, and I'm sad that they won't allow you to comfort them, and I'm hoping that they do have other people. But don't give up. I mean, this is a really tenuous time for boys anyway, and boys, you know, we're finding out more and more, just develop more slowly than girls do, and here their brains aren't even fully developed yet. But there's also this identity issues that come up for boys, and so this is a very confusing time for them.
Well, we'll talk more about this week.
Yeah, I've got a model for having the conversation that you can go through.
But right now, I mean, they're dealing with the trauma of the loss of a dad, and it's maybe not the time to expect them to cling on to you right now. It'll take a while. All right, you're listening to New Life Live. So glad you're with us here today. If you need some help, it's 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
It had become very apparent that some of the things I was involved with were taking over my life.
In today's world, men are barraged with inappropriate content and images all day, every day. Some say that certain behaviors are just no big deal. It's just part of being a guy. But it's simply not true. It's a battleground for every man, and the opportunities to fail are everywhere. New Life's Every Man's Battle Workshop can help.
After 7 years, just one weekend, a completely changed man.
For over 20 years, New Life Ministries has been helping men regain their integrity and purity through their one-of-a-kind Every Man's Battle Workshop.
He said, you know, I think this is something that every man should go to. Married, dating, it was definitely life-changing.
Now the workshop is coming to Orange County, California, June 2nd through the 4th. Don't wait for him to call. To find out more, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE or go to newlife.com.
I just can't say enough of what New Life has done for our marriage.
1-800-NEW-LIFE.
I've been listening to New Life for many years, gone to a few workshops. I want to support a ministry that helps people connect with God and with others and gives them the tools to help transform their lives.
You can help New Life Live stay on the air by joining Club New Life today. When you sign up to support us monthly through Club New Life, we'll send you the new member thank you gift of all 8 100-day devotionals, including 100 Days of Healing, 100 Days from Freedom from Shame, and 100 Days of Freedom from Anger. There are also ongoing benefits like the monthly Club New Life CD or download, access to the Club New Life video library, quarterly resources, free shipping on purchased resources, discounts on workshops, and quarterly online meetings with Steve. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Support Club New Life, and together we can help hurting people find help and hope in life's hardest places. Call 1-800-639-5433 to join Club New Life today. We'd love to hear from you. If you have a question or a comment, call toll-free 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
We are back. Steve Arterburn here, Dr. Jill Hubbard, Dr. John Townsend. And John, you had a formula for how to engage in the conversation that might bridge back some kind of connection.
Yeah, now I like what Steve was thinking. It's Marie, right? Am I saying it right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
This may not be a now. It may be a not right now. It may be a later, because the boys do need some time to kind of reconsolidate their brains. But at some point, if they've canceled you out, there's a quick strategy I want you to think about. One is however you get information to them. It can be a text. It can be email, whatever. You say, I know things are bad between us and I want to own what I've done. I need an hour with you. And if you will give me that hour to hear out what I've done and what you think I've done, I will take notes on a piece of paper and a pen. And I will not edit and I will not say, no, you got that wrong. No, that's not true. You're over-exaggerating. How about what you did? None of that. I will not edit. I will write down every single thing you said. And then if you'll give me like 2 weeks, I will have another meeting in which I will show you that I've changed in the ways that I think are true and I think they will be significant. Would you be open to that? When many times, this has an astonishing success rate for you to say that, because everybody wants to know they've got a day in court with somebody important to them where they won't be interrupted or dismissed. So not right now. Give it maybe another month. But go ahead and present that to them.
All right. Thank you, John. And, there are just these situations that are almost impossible at a certain time, but you never know what's going to happen. So be patient. And I would just say don't force yourself on them right now. Thank you for your phone call. I want to apologize to people that live in Lynchburg. I did learn this from Lucy Swindoll. We had when we were doing Women of Faith, the speakers came on radio, and a woman called in.
I was at the show that day,
and she said, "I'm from this. I just moved to this town, and I'm really miserable." And Lucy
it's not
said,
a friendly town.
What?
I'm in a town where people aren't friendly.
Yeah, and,
we love
and Lucy said,
we
"Oh
love
my
Chuck.
goodness,
we love," but you will not believe this.
She said, "Yeah, I've been there. You should move. That is
she literally said
that is a horrible
town.
place to live. And, you just should pack up and get out of there." And so anyway, I maybe
but
that
after
just
the
stuck
lawsuits, everything was pretty good out there. We had good attorneys and.
Yeah. So I don't want to offend anybody. I mean, like, there's a place where there's a lot of gnashing of teeth, Nashville, and I don't want to offend anybody about what their town is. Let's go back to the phones. How about we talk with Christine? And Christine is calling us all the way from YouTube in New York City. So, hi, Christine. How are you today?
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Thank you for taking my call.
You're welcome.
I didn't think I'd get through.
Well,
can you hear me okay?
God must really think you need help. So,
yes, he does.
How could we help or try to? We'll attempt it.
I know I need it. So my question, it's a little different, but I'm at a point in my life where I've experienced a tremendous amount of personal and professional growth in my life and ministry.
So you've been reading a lot of my books. Go ahead.
I've been following you guys from, oh my gosh, like the 90s. So,
awesome.
Yes.
Thank you for that.
I love New Life. I've been a long-time supporter. And I called in on the show before, and you guys have helped me out a lot.
Great.
So,
now today, you are wondering about what?
Okay, so I've experienced some setbacks and frustration, just in the things that I have accomplished, and just feeling like certain goals have not materialized in the way that I've wanted them to. And so my question is, how do I know if I'm following God's will for my life, or I'm just trying to make things happen in my own strength, or if I need to just keep pushing through, if it's the devil or spiritual warfare, or how do I know that I'm on the right track of where God wants me to, because I've experienced those frustrations.
Okay, so can you give us a specific example of something that you thought was the direction you wanted to go, but something happened that really caused you to think maybe this isn't for me?
Oh boy. I guess just like I said, personally and professionally and in ministry, I have just really went back to school. I really have, my resume has just increased and just everything that I've learned with my own experience and my testimony of where God has brought me out.
What's the big setback
addiction.
you went through? What's the big setback?
I guess just not feeling like I'm where I want to be in terms of like ministry or personally in my profession. With my job, I had to, have moved around with a couple of jobs that I had some bad experiences with in mental health and addiction, and just feeling like frustrated with that and not sure. Like, I changed careers about 5 years ago, and I love it, but I just wasn't sure that maybe I was in the right field, because I had like really bad experiences with just working with, certain companies.
There are realities beyond just Satan's influence. Sometimes you think this is going to be great for me, and we tell ourselves some things that maybe aren't true, or we misjudge the challenges, and it is time to take a different course. We'll talk about that when we come back and try to give you some help. At least I know John and Jill will really be thinking and praying about this answer, because your life is on the line. We could steer you the wrong way. By the way, I hope that never, ever happens. We'll take a break. We'll come right back for more of New Life Live.
We went to the intimacy and marriage in 2019. We were both done.
This is Steve Arterburn. Do you feel like your marriage is done? New Life can help. We believe that everybody has room to grow in the intimacy level of their life. Our Intimacy and Marriage Workshop examines the various types of intimacy, spiritual, emotional, and physical, as well as the challenges of experiencing true intimacy.
The next Intimacy and Marriage Workshop is July 28th to the 30th in Washington, D.C. Call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE to find out more, or go to newlife.com. 1-800-639-5433.
Don't settle for a miserable marriage or even one that's just okay. It's possible to experience a new level of intimacy and have a great marriage.
The transformation, phenomenal. And it's transformed our lives so much.
1-800-NEW-LIFE.
I was sort of vaguely familiar that the 12 steps had some origination in the Bible. I found Life Recovery, and one of the things I liked so much was that it had such a broad appeal. It wasn't limited to just alcohol or drugs, that it was addressing a wide range of problems.
At New Life, we believe everyone can benefit from a life recovery experience. There are life recovery groups all over the country. They take place online, in conference calls, and in person. And if there isn't one in your area, we can help you start one. We have startup materials, leaders' guides, CDs, Bibles, and more, all with discounts available for groups. Call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE and ask for Terry Ward. The 12 Steps have long been a great help to people in recovery because much of the 12 Steps' power comes from the fact that they capture principles clearly revealed in the Bible.
The 12 steps is really a pattern for all of us as Christians.
Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433. We're glad you joined us for New Life Live. To be a part of the program, call 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
We're back. Steve Arterburn here. We're talking with Christine and facing a situation that many of us face from time to time. It's just not working out. And Jill, you've got some thoughts here.
Well, Christine, I can tell that you're a very thoughtful person and you really reflect on things, and your relationship with the Lord is important. And a lot of times we think that, okay, God's pointing me in this direction, the doors are opening, and so we do all of the work. And then, like you said, there's frustration. Like, why is this not going as I thought that it would? And sometimes we can then get ourselves mired in overthinking, kind of indecision, like, oh no, am I in God's will or out of God's will, as if it's like something you've got to jump in or out of. I mean, we're in God's will if we're focusing on Him and turning constantly towards Him. And sometimes we tend to think, okay, this is going to be a great thing, and we idealize, and we are focused on what we think the outcome should be, and that we think, well, God would probably agree with us, right? Because that is a great outcome. And often that isn't the case. I know recently I shared something where we had made on radio, where we had made a family decision, thought it was the best, and then it did not go as planned. And I got confirmation at the beginning, and then like 4 years later, I got a confirmation from a random person that I realized, no, we were on the right path, and God had us exactly where He wanted us, and He's working behind the scenes. So sometimes the path is crooked. It's not a straight path.
Most of the time.
We will be wandering. But the point is, no matter what happens, keeping your eyes on the Lord is the important piece.
Yeah, Christine, I really agree with where Jill's going on that. I think that if I were in your shoes, this is kind of what I tell people is start off with the wisest people in your life. Get your little team together and make sure they're people that love you and they're not crazy, but, you know, they love you and they've got wisdom. Use your own brain. I wrote a book called Leading from Your Gut, and Leading from Your Gut, we'll send it to you because it has principles of this. But do your best job without like bringing the God piece in it. And once you've kind of thought, this seems to be the best way to go, from what I can tell. Then tell God the following: I'll go anywhere you want. I'll go to any country you want. I'll do anything you want. My hand is open, and I'm going to move this way, but please tell me if I'm the wrong way. And if God doesn't do anything and you're sold out to Him, that's generally a sign, if you've done your due diligence, that this is okay, because you're surrendered. So put the plan together. It won't be perfect. Move ahead. But God uses moving objects. And just say, I'm moving ahead till you say something different, but my hand is always open.
And to say, I'll go anywhere, but Ireland would be my preference. That you can have desire. But you know what? Romans 12:2 is a way to know God's will. It says, don't copy customs, behavior of the world. So don't just get caught up in this world. Then it says, but let God transform your life. It's not you transforming. It's God by changing the way you think. It's not you changing the way you think. It's letting God change the way you think. And we don't think very well. I'll speak for myself. We don't think very well often. And it says this then. Here's the promise. Then you will know God's will for you, which is perfect. Now, that's a pretty great thing to know. God's perfect will for you. And you don't mind the trail zigzagging because you're doing what you need to do, which I think is waking up in the morning and humbly surrendering all over again your life to God while you use the brain that God gave you. All right. So I hope that's helpful to you. We'll send you Leading from Your Gut.
Yep.
How do you do that?
Well,
because the bigger your gut, then the better your leadership could be.
It's a neuroscience metaphor that there's a right brain and a left brain. We all work on the left with our logic, but we need the gut, which is the right side, even though it's not here. It's a metaphor. So
all right. Well, that takes a lot of guts to do that, and I appreciate it. All right. I would like to just take a minute to ask folks to support us, because it's generosity that allows New Life to continue to transform lives of hurting people. That's what we want to do. And here's what one listener wrote. Let me read it to you. I will be forever grateful for New Life Live as the vehicle God used to save my life. I went back to drinking after almost 5 years in AA because I quit doing the necessary things to stay sober. I thought I'd die drunk. But after 23 years of continuous drinking, I found the radio show, and within 11 months, went to one of your workshops, then another, as well as participating in the Sustained Healing phone call for 5 years. I've been in recovery for 9 years. I'm alive today because of God and New Life. Praise God. I mean, really, I'm coming out of retirement. It's just too exciting to miss this. No, don't worry, Becky, I'm not. But really, help us reach more people like this. Yeah. It's been such a joy over the years to hear story after story of somebody that has been transformed by New Life. Every Man's Battle is going to be this weekend in Orange County, and Restore is in Washington, D.C. for women, and Intimacy and Marriage is in February. There are all sorts of things you can do, and please don't do nothing. You can quote me on that, okay? Don't do nothing. All right, let's go back to the calls. 1-800-NEW LIFE if you need some help. Let's go to Ben from Newark, New Jersey. Hey, Ben, how you doing today, and how could we help you?
Yeah, hi. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. Well, I'm having some marriage difficulty. My wife has been saying, it might be a long story, but my wife's been saying for the past year about every month that she wants a divorce or a separation.
Okay.
That's the issue. Yeah.
Okay. And so what's the question for us?
Okay. Yes. So the problem is I've been asking for her to get marriage counseling with me or for her to get personal counseling. And I've been doing that for the last year. But she pretty much almost always refuses. We did try a marriage counselor once or twice, but she found a problem with them and discontinued it. So I'm really trying to, my wife has a lot of past trauma, so I'm trying to get her to go to counseling, but I'm having trouble getting her to do it. I've even offered to pay for it.
Okay.
So how can I get her to get counseling for all of her past trauma and stuff?
All right. pretty tough. She doesn't like you right now. You want her to become likable.
Yeah, and Ben, will she admit that what you call trauma is trauma, or does she say it's not really trauma?
She will call it trauma herself.
Okay. Does she get help for the trauma? Not you, not the marriage thing. I'm just curious about her insights. Does she get help for the trauma?
Does she get help for it?
Counseling.
Has she ever gotten help?
No, she does not. No, she never had a personal counselor.
What's her stance about that?
Well, she'll say stuff like she doesn't need a counselor, she just needs the Bible.
Okay. And you are witness that the trauma is pretty serious stuff, right?
Yes.
Okay, and I'm sure none of us are perfect husbands, but then the thing the three of us would probably think is, yeah, Ben's not everything he should be unless you're just really a bad guy. But a lot of times somebody with untreated trauma over a long period of time that gets no help, and by the way, the Bible says you need help besides the Bible, but she doesn't do that. She doesn't get help from skilled counselors. That trauma, it metastasizes, and then it gets projected onto the marriage. Does that sound reasonable?
Yes, I think instead of her looking within herself, she's looking at me, and then she looks at the marriage. Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying I'm perfect.
Got it.
I've been trying really hard for the last year with this stuff. And
well, one thought I had was when you said that she sees, it's got to be a counselor or some situations. This massive trauma is just too big a deal. But if she finds something she doesn't like in these folks, I think one thing I would do, I mean, Jill and Steve got ideas. One thing I would do is say, okay, you're in charge. You pick the counselor. And you can pick 20 counselors until you find one you like. But if she feels like you're doing it and you're the bad guy, well, then she'll find something. But if you think you need it, the fact that she has shown up to therapy is a really good sign. But just say, okay, you pick them from now, I'll go anywhere you want. And see if that finally, the second, the third one, she goes, okay, it's time to be vulnerable. That's one way.
Well, another thing is just to say, I am willing. And it would be so sad for us to miss what could be without going to see somebody 6 times, 4 times. Yep. You pick. But I'm willing to do what it takes to change me for you and for us. I mean, that kind of humble approach and willingness might be the key.
Ben, do you have kids?
No, we don't.
Okay. And Ben, when we come back from the break, can you tell me what her complaints are about you?
All right, Ben, you've got a couple of minutes to think about that. We'll hear about it after this. You're listening to New Life Live. We'll be back right after this.
For most of my life, I've been dealing with an opiate addiction.
Why is opioid addiction quickly becoming one of our nation's biggest killers? Maybe it's because it isn't only those who are addicted who are in denial.
We did what I see so many parents do, is it can't be an addiction. There's something medically wrong.
It's impossible to solve a problem when you don't know what you're up against, and families will try to find any explanation except the one that will put them on the right path.
Alcoholism and drug addiction is a family disease. It doesn't affect just the individual.
If someone you love is abusing painkillers, know what you're up against. It's time to admit its addiction and seek treatment. Call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. We have partner treatment centers around the country. Call 1-800-639-5433 or visit us online at newlife.com.
We just made a decision. We will do whatever it takes.
1-800-NEW-LIFE. We all face days where life throws us a curveball and our routines or plans get disrupted. Things we wanted to do are forced to take a backseat to the unexpected demands of the day. If you normally listen to New Life Live on a radio station, well, you might not be able to that day. And on these hectic days when you're feeling stressed or frazzled, hearing the sound of counsel given on New Life Live is just what you need to navigate the unexpected things of life.
Every time I'm troubled or I have a problem, I'll cut on New Life And there's always something that is said that is helpful to me.
By listening, I have learned more than I can ever express about how God wants me to live.
Download the New Life app for the easiest way to listen wherever you are and at a time that's convenient for you. Or watch the show on our YouTube channel. You can even subscribe to our podcast from your favorite podcast provider. You never have to miss a day of New Life. Wherever you are, we are. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
Dr. Bart, we're here with Dr. Jill Hubbard and Dr. John Townsend. And, you know, just from what we've been hearing, you might have noticed people have problems.
They do.
And if you have a problem, you're a people. You're not weird or strange. Mm-hmm. And we've been talking with Ben, and you had a couple of questions.
So Ben, just quickly, what are a couple of things that she's been complaining about that she needs a divorce?
Yeah, I'll give you the two that have come up over and over and over again. Okay. The two things she'll say, one, I'm codependent.
Okay.
And she'll say that's a form of idolatry, and therefore she has the right to divorce me. She'll also say that when we go out in public that I sometimes look at other women, and she'll say that's adultery, and then that therefore she has the right to divorce me. So codependency, she's accusing me of codependency and adultery.
Okay, so Ben, she's also hyper-spiritualizing, which a lot of people in trauma do, and they focus on being as spiritual as possible. So, and that's always an out and something that's hard to argue with. I would say do not focus on her trauma. Focus on the fact that you want to get help for yourself and you want to understand. Again, it's if you can put the onus on you, it is less threatening. It's too threatening for you to want her to get help for her trauma. She has protected that for so long. And so if you could get her to go with you, I'd even go to codependency meetings. Tell her you're really taking this seriously.
There you go.
You're going to 12-step groups, and you'd like her to come with you into counseling and see if you can turn this around. And start there. And I agree with the guys that let her pick the counselor, and you work within those parameters.
You know, in internal family systems therapy or theory, there's this part of a person called the spiritualizer. Mm-hmm. And it's a way of trying to survive or deal with pain and cope. And it is really a tough one to counter, because how can you argue with being more spiritual or referring to Scripture? And the best thing you can do, I think, is to try to get into the spiritualizer's spiritual world and connect with them at that level versus judge them for spiritualizing. It could be the connection. Let's take, I had one more caller and they just went away. But that's okay, because I've been rejected all my life. It just and just right when I think things are, there it is. It just happens. But let's talk about survival and some of the things that people do to survive. We want to criticize what they're doing, like a controller. Somebody got to have control of everything. But really, you have to somehow connect with what that person is doing versus criticize it. Because if you just criticize it, you cut yourself off.
Yeah, I mean, everybody knows somebody who is in that mode, and the worst thing you can do is say, what's wrong with that? But the best thing you do is to let them know that there are some valid needs underneath that behavior.
Yeah.
I mean, we have these needs that God built. Basically, God built us for two needs. One is to connect with Him and others, and the other is to be able to do, to act, to make plans, to be functional. It's always a relationship and function. And I just remember telling somebody who felt so judged, let's talk about, these are just struggles. The control struggle is because you feel out of control. And they'll kind of relax. If you make it, it's a not helpful way to meet a really important need, then the judge kind of leaves their head and they go, okay, I want to listen to more.
I've told you, John, but my mom's father committed suicide when I was 6 months old. And so, she was just trying to survive and wasn't there for me in those developmental years. And I was burned, scalded, left in the car, neglected, almost drowned, all this kind of stuff because she just had a hard time losing her dad.
She was overwhelmed.
Yeah. So I had that trauma treated. And it's amazing how when you have the trauma, and it doesn't matter if it's a big trauma or several little traumas, you get help for that. Now you have room for other people's pain. You you don't have to be a spiritualizer. You don't have to try to control things to keep things away. And so many people, I just think in the Christian community, we kind of shun going deeper over something that happened a while back. But it is in going deeper in that we have a resolution. People say, well, Paul didn't have a therapist. He didn't need that. Well, he didn't have a dentist either, but he would have loved having a dentist. He could have had an implant. Who knows? So we can't just say because they didn't do this.
We don't know that Paul didn't have wise people around him.
Yeah, good point. Do you think he would have read Boundaries? I don't know. Maybe.
I've been going through Acts in my devotions, and I mean,
you've been
guys,
reading Acts?
Yeah,
I've been reading Acts. It's fascinating.
Blowing me away, and it's sort of like watching this team of people. They're related to God very well, right. The Holy Spirit in the Bible, but they are with each other too. All the relational nutrients of love and grace and truth and confrontation, forgiveness. They did it the whole way through.
Yeah.
So when people say he didn't need that, I go, yeah, he did. It wasn't called a therapist, but it was Peter, it was James, these sorts of people.
Yeah. He was so bad, people didn't want to be around him after he accepted Jesus.
I know.
That's a pretty cool thing.
Yeah.
Plus, he had a little eyesight problem there. But I think that it is so easy to do all I need is my Bible. And if that's all you need, you're not reading it because it tells you in about 25 to 40 verses that we need one another, pray for one another, meet each other, I mean, all sorts of one another's, not just be you. Yes?
Well, and I think you guys are saying the more scared and fearful you are about touching those deeper places, the more defended you are going to be. And anything can become that. And so that's why it's so important to look at, okay, I wonder what's underneath this. Right? When you experience someone like that, I wonder what's going on underneath. And also that all behavior has meaning.
Yeah. You need to be a curiositator and find out what is under, or be interested.
Absolutely. But to her point, that's why it's called a trigger.
Yeah, right.
There's something triggering that weird behavior of control or blowing up. It's a trigger. There's got to be something underneath.
So be curious. Maybe not just flat out ask. Yeah. But be willing to listen.
Yeah.
You could be a healer. All right. Well, we are just about out of time, and I'm so grateful for all the people here with us in Southern California in this nice little hotel ballroom. And thank you all for not interrupting anything that we said. I really appreciate that. Always do. But if you're listening today and you need some help, we have been doing this ever since 1988. 36 years next month. And it's been such a privilege to just speak truth into people's lives with compassion and love. When we really do, I mean, if you don't sense that we really have a love for people, to go a little bit deeper than maybe is comfortable, then we're kind of failing there. But we really do love helping folks. And if you need some help, you call us at 1-800-NEW Life. Now, a lot of times people call us for their spouse or the person that they can't stand, but just call for you. It's the best. And don't call after midnight, but because we're sleeping. No, you can call anytime. But really, look at, is there some area of my life that needs some work? And give us a call. We probably do have something that can help. God bless you, and if you can help us, it's 1-800-NEW-LIFE, or if you need help, it's the same number. Thank you, Dr. John Townsend and Dr. Jill Hubbard, two of my very, very favorite people in the entire, this room. We'll see you next time right here on New Life Live. God bless you.
Thanks for listening. We hope this program has helped you by giving you insights for handling the challenges you face in your life. We want you to know that we're here for you, but you also need to know that New Life Live is a listener-supported ministry. To make your donation or to get any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433, or write to us at New Life Ministries, P.O. Box 1029, Lake Forest, California, 92609. Please join us again tomorrow for New Life Live.
Thanks for watching today. We love helping people. I hope you sense that. And we know that there's always hope if you find the right resource. Now, if something we've said to somebody else applies to you, that's fantastic. That's what we're hoping for. But also, if you want to join us directly, you can call 1-800-229-3000 between 1 and 3 Eastern Time, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Those are the best times to get through. And while you're here on YouTube, check out these other videos that we've done to help people see where they could grow or a different path to take. And if you do that, would you give us a thumbs up on the video, and please subscribe to this channel. There are many ways that we can help you outside of the radio program, and it's very hard for some to pick up a phone and dial 1-800-NEW-LIFE, but when you do, we put you in touch with somebody who cares about you, knows all the resources out there, and they're going to find the best for you. There is no reason to struggle alone. I hope to see you tomorrow. Hope you'll invite somebody else to come and join that maybe needs just a little bit of help along the way. I'll see you next time.